that strong before. Ground felt like jelly. It was just like jiggling, and the house was shaking, and I could hear glass breaking up in the house.
Bumblebees, they're disappearing at an alarming rate. According to scientists at the Center for Biological Diversity, in 8 states, the bumblebee is gone. It's vanished. They say this is the precursor to extinction. It's really a huge issue. Bees are pollinators. They're essential to the agricultural ecosystem.
This doorbell camera system from a viewer in Hillsborough County picks up the boom that so many across the region heard Sunday morning.
Yeah, Mike, it's the mystery that everyone seems to be talking about.
A mystery in New England this weekend.
I know many of you emailing us saying you heard it, a loud boom, and felt your homes shake yesterday morning.
We see nothing on our seismic stations that indicates that there was any earthquake activity.
Nor the U.S. Geological Survey reported any earthquakes in New Hampshire yesterday.
Now, we received reports of people feeling or hearing the boom from more than 40 cities and towns.
People also say they felt it in northern Massachusetts and eastern Maine. Even a woman on Cape Cod writing in to say she too heard the boom.
A little after 11:30, we heard a really loud boom and a really subtle shake.
But for now, it all remains a mystery.
Well, many folks heard a loud sonic boom around Bay County this morning. It happened about 11. There haven't been any reports of fires or explosions that may have caused that boom.
Well, I heard a big boom. I just didn't know what it was. You know, it was very loud, out of the ordinary.
When the boom happened, many people were startled as the loud noise interrupted their day-to-day life.
It sounded like
a loud bang
and felt like
the whole house shook for a second.
Tuesday, Chris Muller's home windows started vibrating.
Like a sonic boom or a large bird hit the side of the house. So I went out and checked, no large bird.
For a brief moment, Kyle Thompson thought his house was coming down.
Either the front of the house or our second floor roof might have caved in. That's what it sounded like.
This Ahwatukee neighborhood is nestled at the bottom of South Mountain near 17th Avenue and Chandler Boulevard. The least likely possibility is an earthquake. The Arizona Geological Association at Arizona says the last measurable earthquake felt in Phoenix happened in 2015 in Black Canyon City.
It was very quick, but it was definitely, as someone else explained, it felt like the whole house shook for a second.
All right, we're following some breaking news out of Hawaii, where a 6.2 magnitude earthquake hit off the eastern coast of the Big Island just before 3 p.m. our time.
The quake happened just miles off of Na'alehu shortly before noon. Big Island residents are no stranger to earthquakes, but some say this one felt different, more intense.
And the earthquake just went boom. It felt like an explosion, and the house started shaking. I mean, violently, like we've never experienced something that strong.
Viewers sent us photos of items that flew off the shelves and onto the floor at Ace Hardware in Na'alehu. And it was felt in Kihei, too.
All of a sudden, I felt the couch rock that I was sitting on rocking back and forth.
I've been in a lot of earthquakes in Hawaii, and I've never been this scared.
An earthquake also shook the island of La Palma on Thursday, the strongest since volcanic activity picked up.
Now to Spain, and the Cumbre Vieja volcano on the Canary Islands shows no sign of slowing down, more than 3 weeks since it first erupted.
The last time Cumbre Vieja erupted, it lasted just over 3 weeks. But 3 weeks on this time, and there's still no end in sight.
The river of red-hot lava has now pushed over the boundary of the evacuated area, forcing several hundred more people to flee their homes.
The variety of plant and animal life in the UK is so depleted it could cause an ecological meltdown.
Scientists at the Natural History Museum say that the UK has only 53% of its biodiversity left, and that's well below the global average of 75%.
The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, all rely on biodiversity, the variety of all plant and animal life on Earth. But biodiversity is dwindling fast because of us, with an estimated 1 million species at risk of extinction. The UK's no exception. It has just 53% of its biodiversity left, well below the global average of 75%, according to a new study from the Natural History Museum. Researchers say there's little room for nature in a country where so much of the land has long been built upon or used for intensive agriculture. And they warn the world's lost so much natural biodiversity, we risk an ecological meltdown, a future in which we can't rely on nature to provide the energy, food and timber we need.
Biodiversity is more than something that's beautiful to look at and that we love. It's also what provides us with so many of our basic needs. It's the foundation of our society. We've seen recently how disruptive it can be when supply chains break down. Nature is at the base of our supply chains.
The team from the Natural History Museum hope their data will help global leaders meeting for the UN Biodiversity Conference next week. During a week of virtual talks hosted by China, negotiators will thrash out plans for protecting nature over the next 10 years. None of the targets for the previous decade were met, and scientists say this is our last best chance for a sustainable future.
Oh my God, look at that. Halley's Comet, baby. Look at that. Oh my God, what is that?
Thompson says the meteor burned for about 2 minutes. Well, anyway, if your name's Lucy, good on you. That's
right. You can call it after yourself if you really want.
You can be part of it if you want, exactly. Now, Brad, mysterious radio signals have been detected near the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
But just speaking of life, random radio signals we were picking up. Is this life?
Not aliens, unfortunately not, but probably some other new random excitement thing in the center of our galaxy. Maybe one day it will be aliens, but I don't think it's today.
The heart of the Milky Way galaxy, also known as the galactic center, is emitting some unusual radio waves, extraordinary signals that are unlike anything known to mankind. They've been discovered by a team of scientists at the University of Sydney. The scientists say these signals are beyond their understanding.
They're not coming from a star or a planet, but from a new kind of celestial object. The story is truly puzzling.
Things in space usually have a repeated pattern because they're going around something or they're spinning. They kind of have a natural speed or rate. The fact that this is changing seemingly constantly is quite an interesting surprise. Now, we don't think it's aliens, but we do think maybe it's a new class of an object. Maybe it's some sort of new type of star that's erupting or variable or exploding. So a really cool discovery once again here from Australia.
Well, what is that?
A pattern of lights over Paterson, New Jersey on Monday night caused a bit of a stir with residents on the ground, all trying to make sense of the unidentified flying objects. Louis Stevens, who was on the ground filming the spectacle, says he lost count of what he called flying white circles that he says morphed into different shapes.
You see it on YouTube and you be like, it's always somewhere out in the Nevada desert somewhere. The shock was more like, is this really real? Like, are we really looking at what we think we're looking at? Headed toward those.
The mysterious lights dazzled the skies over downtown Paterson for more than 5 minutes, Stevens said, ending their run over nearby Garrett Mountain. Pix 11 News sent the video to the Federal Aviation Administration, where an official reviewed it, checking in with local air traffic. We were told nothing unusual was reported.
There's a lot of them, look.
Now, whether they were drones or some supernatural phenomenon remains unclear. Officials are urging members of the public who do see this type of activity to report it to the National UFO Reporting Center, or if they feel their life or property are in danger, to call police.
Well, good morning. Yeah, you can see this thing from all over Metro Detroit, all over the state, even in another country. Canada, right next door. The good news is we know it's not an alien invasion.
Giant, slow-moving fireball was seen all over southeast Michigan. You had to be up pretty late to see it.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a fireball. Around 12:45 this morning, those who were awake, like Chris Johnson in Port Huron, saw this in the sky. They were wondering what the heck it is. But it wasn't just Chris in Port Huron. This was seen all over Metro Detroit. Tim Shank recorded this video in Romulus. Turns out that it's likely a piece or a part of a meteor shower that really is going to be seen even better tonight.
Now at 5, several Hoosiers in Hamilton County saw something in the sky early this morning.
This is pretty interesting. People have speculated that it could be anything from a meteor to a UFO. An astronomy professor at Butler says it's most likely just a piece of space debris re-entering Earth's orbit.
It is a spectacular sight when you see these things. I haven't seen things re-enter like this.
Professor Brian Murphy with Butler University says it was likely not a meteor, as you just heard, because it was moving too slowly. If it was coming in front from outside our orbit, it would be moving around 4 times faster, he says, than what we saw there.
It's totally a UFO.
Well, a NASA rocket blasted off just before dawn this morning, beginning a 12-year quest to explore a group of asteroids orbiting Jupiter. The spacecraft, named Lucy, took off from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Scientists believe the mission will shed light on some of the solar system's least understood objects.
In December, NASA is going to launch the James Webb Space Telescope. You know, this is the successor to Hubble that's going to supposedly see light from the very first stars and galaxies that formed after the Big Bang. NASA's building another spacecraft called the Europa Clipper. And so I think it's a lot of fun. It's a great time to be watching all this. Being able to learn these things about the solar system that we never knew before is truly fascinating.